Hello and good morning, friends. Today we are going to learn about the President of India. We will learn almost everything about the President, the eligibility, the qualification, how he is elected, what kind of powers the President has. So we are going to get in-depth information about the President today. So be focused and try to learn as much as you possibly can. So first thing about the introduction of the President is, the President of India is the head of the state of the Republic of India. Head of the state. He is the first citizen. He's the first person of India, and he's the head of the state. He's not the head of the government. Okay, understand this. He's not the head of the government. Prime Minister is the head of the government. But when we're talking about India, then the head of India, the head of the state, is the president. President is the formal head. He is the formal head of the executive, legislature, and judiciary of India, and is also the commander-in-chief of the Indian Armed Forces. There is no one above the president here. In the executive terms, the president signs every order. A lot of orders you will find that are a lot of agreements, contracts are done in the name of the president of India. Legislature, unless the president signs a bill, it does not become an act. And judiciary, even though the president is not part of the judiciary, but still he has this clemency power, the pardoning power, that he has judicial powers too. And also a lot of you will be familiar with this fact that war and peace is declared in the name of the president, because the president is the commander-in-chief of the Indian Armed Forces. Now, how is he elected? We're going to go through deep into it, because this is something you should know. This is a little different than how normal elections are happening in India. So President of India, the way elections are conducted are real different here, because the president election is conducted in different ways. An indirect election, normal people do not vote in the election of the president. So who does? The President of India is indirectly elected, first of all, by an electoral college composed of the elected members of both the houses of the parliament. Who votes? The elected members of both the houses of the parliament. Apart from this, the elected members of the legislative assembly, they also vote for the election of the president. So we will learn this election exercise in detail. Right now we're only going to introduction, so understand that the president is not elected directly. Okay, so who is the President of India? First of all, is the head of the union executive. The union executive comprises the PM and the Council of Ministers also, but the head of this executive of the union is the president. Real executive powers are vested in the Council of Ministers. This is important because the president is only a formal head. He's not de facto ruler. He's not who actually does what he wants. He does not have actual powers. He has to approve of the decisions that are taken by the Council of Ministers. Article 53 says that the executive powers of the president are exercised by him directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with the constitution. So the president actually says, the work of the president is only limited to approval of the decisions that have been already taken by the cabinet, by the Council of Ministers. In India, because we have a parliamentary system of government, we do not have a presidential system of government. He is only the formal head. What should be the qualification? Who can be the President of India? First of all, in order to be the President of India, one has to be the citizen of India. You have to be born in India, or you are a naturalized citizen. You have acquired the citizenship of India. Should be of the age of 35 years and should be qualified for the election as a member of the Lok Sabha. That we will learn about those qualifications on the class on Parliament. Not hold any office of profit under the government of India, state government, or any local authority. That means that you should not be biased. There should be no conflict of interest. You should not be at any post of profit, and you should not be holding any office of profit. You have to be completely clean and completely neutral to act as the president of the nation. shall not be a member of either house of people or a house of the legislature of any state. Okay, and if in the case someone is a member of any house, then he will vacate his seat. This is the precondition to become the president of India. You have to remember this. Election again. Now when I said we are going to learn about the presidential election. So first of all, he is elected by indirect election. So this could be an MCQ. This could be MCQ somewhere. So remember this, that our president is not directly elected by the people. He is indirectly elected. Electoral college is in accordance with the system of proportional representation. It's not one vote one value here, because and why one vote does not have one value in the election of the president? Because electoral college consists of the elected members of both houses of the parliament and the elected members of the state. Now you understand that the elected member of the both houses of parliament will be small in numbers comparing them to the elected members of the state. So the value of the vote of the members of the house of the parliament is more than the value of the elected members of the state. They compute it with a formula where at the end of it, everyone's vote becomes, having of same value. But we can see this, that the elected members of the state and the elected members of the both houses of the parliament participate in this. But what is something that is also there? You have to read between the lines. This means that the nominated members do not enjoy this right to vote. The nominated members, whether in any house, either house of the parliament or in the state assembly, only the elected ones vote. The nominated members do not have any right to vote or to participate in the election of the president. This is something you should be noting down right now. Next is indirect method is adopted because the size of the electorate in India is too big. And one more thing you have to understand, since we have the prime minister who is elected, we elect our MPs and then the MPs choose the prime minister. And in the same way, if everyone was given the chance, everyone was given this voting power to choose the president, then don't you think that will actually bring a conflicting situation, while the president will also represent the nation because he's elected directly, and the prime minister will say, no, I am also elected by the people. So in that case it will become very difficult to function the government. So it is that is one of the reason why they decided that the president will actually be a symbol of whole of the nation, the unity of the nation, but he will not be directly elected. Plus, the size of Indian population, conducting election in India is not an easy thing. It is a tough thing. It is not an easy thing. You have to remember this. Now, direct election of the president would mean a tremendous loss of time, money, and energy. And what you will get? You will only get conflicts. Okay, first we are going to understand this, the term of office. The term of office is 5 years. I am pretty sure that you guys are aware of this fact. And eligible for re-election. If you remember, Rajendra Prasad was re-elected, and his office can be terminated in either of two ways. There are two ways in which his office can be terminated. First is by resignation in the writing under his hand, addressed to the Vice President of India. Here is something that you should remember for MCQ in any exam. To whom does the president addresses his resignation letter? To the vice president. Second is by removal of violation of the constitution by the process of impeachment, and this is only one ground on which the president can be removed, and this ground is the violation of the constitution. If president is doing something that is in the violation of the constitution, he can be removed by the process of impeachment. What is the process of impeachment? How it is initiated? How things are going on? Right now you may be listening to or reading in the newspaper that there is impeachment processes going on against American president. We will learn everything about Indian procedure of impeachment, but in a sequence. First we have to learn about what are the powers of the president that makes his post so prestigious. Okay, so the president of India and this is also something that has high probability of being asked in the exam, so you should be very very focused on this. The President of India enjoys these 8 powers. In some books you may find them 9, 10 if you somehow divides them deeper and further. So the first power of the president is the legislative, then judicial, executive, diplomatic, pardoning, financial, emergency power, and military powers. Today we are going to learn about legislative powers, and in the next class we will finish the rest of the powers. Okay, so what are the legislative powers of the president? What do you understand by the word legislative? It means framing of the laws. Okay, and where are the laws are framed? Where they are framed? In the parliament. So the powers of the president relating to the parliament are the powers that are called the legislative powers. Okay, so first thing, he can summon or prorogue the house of the parliament and dissolve Lok Sabha. Whenever there is a session of any house of the parliament going on, in this case let's say Lok Sabha, that session is not something that all of the MPs will just gather around and decide, all right, let's meet on that date. No, it is the duty, it's the power of the president that he sends this summoning letters. He summons the house. Okay, this is the date and you're gonna have to meet on this date. It is of course not his decision to choose the date. The date is supplied to him, as I said earlier, that he only approves the decision. The date is supplied to him by the cabinet, but unless he approves this decision, and he has a power to say no in some cases, we will learn that in the next class, but those negative powers are not really that much strong. You will learn about that. So unless and until the president summons and approves the date and summons the house, there will be no house conducted. This is that much important. So the president has this power. He can also dissolve the Lok Sabha. At the end of the 5-year period, he will dissolve the Lok Sabha and call for fresh elections. It's only the president can do that, no one else. He nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha and 2 members of Anglo-Indian community to Lok Sabha. Now you have to remember one thing, that this provision has been done away with. Okay, this is an old presentation. This provision is not there anymore. So now the 2 members of the Anglo-Indian community are not appointed, not nominated to the Lok Sabha anymore. In the previous year, this amendment, this was done away with. So there is no such provision of nominating 2 members of Anglo-Indian community to Lok Sabha anymore. But the president still nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha, and these 12 members who have done exemplary and very excellency in various fields like literature or sports or arts, these kind of things. Now the third is the certain bills require prior approval of the president for its introduction to the parliament. We will understand everything, how the parliament works in the class on parliament, how the bills are introduced, how there is debate, how is voting, how is something becomes from a bill to an act. But today here you have to understand that certain bills, in order to be introduced, they need to have this prior approval. Okay, they require prior approval. Even before they are presented in the parliament, the president has to approve them. What kind of bills are they? The money bill, the financial bill, bills affecting taxation in which states are interested, state bills imposing restrictions upon freedom of trade. Don't worry about their full definition and what they are. I will teach you each and every one of them in the class of parliament. What are bills and what are money bills, financial bills, bills affecting the taxation. But these, you have to remember that these are those bills that requires the prior approval of the president for its introduction. Creation of new states and alteration of boundaries of states. Point 4 is he lays the reports of Auditor General, CAG, Controller Auditor of General. It's like an Accountant of India, UPSC. Finance Commission, Commission of Backward Classes, Special Office for SC and ST before the Parliament. It's only the President who can do this. The next is the president has the power to either give assent or withhold his assent to a bill. President assent a bill cannot become an act. As I was telling you earlier, that in order for a bill to become, in this situation, first the bill introduced, then there is debate, then there are voting, and when the bill has been passed from both of the houses, then the bill goes to the president, and in order to become an act, the president must sign on it. And if the president does not sign on it, the bill never becomes an act. The bill only remains a bill, it does not become a law, and we can only implement laws, we cannot implement bills. Understand the value here. So the presidential power of withholding his assent, and you will learn a lot about this in further classes, how the president, in the power of the president, the veto powers of the president, how the president can actually withhold his assent. However, it's not as much absolute as it is in America, but we still have some powers. So the president has the power to give the assent or to withhold his assent, and if he withholds his assent, the bill cannot become law. This is the power of the president. So we have done with the legislative powers today. We will move further with the remaining powers of the president and finish this chapter of president in the next class. I hope you learned something from this class. Keep revising, your exams are coming, your syllabus will be finished in 4 or 5 classes maximum. So be regular and attend the classes. I'll end the class now. Thank you.